there was a little bit of a sting and a hurt, this last year because of, when everything happened with George Floyd, when we saw, the June 15th, what happened with June 2020, whenever the Supreme Court case,
it was 1 year ago yesterday.
Yes, 1 year ago yesterday.
Bostock decision.
What was it?
The Bostock decision.
Yes. Okay, so those all happening, and still even worried that we could still be fired for being gay.
Mm-hmm.
And wanting to have this conversation. And so that is something. And what you put out is, SHRM must support Black Lives Matter and the LGBTQ community.
Yep.
And I've really been on this track lately because I have been seeing so much about when diversity and inclusion in HR. I've had friends and colleagues that have even said HR should not even be part of diversity and inclusion. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I think it should be part of it. I think it should be woven into every aspect of the culture of an organization. And so in this work and trying to create these cultures of belonging, it does make it difficult.
Yes. Oh, for sure.
When the organization that you get all your resources from, in organizations that you get your resources, those things from, it's like, where do they stand on belonging for all? Because you can't nitpick where the inclusion matters. And when you put this out, I was like, she's understanding and get it. So thank you for putting that out. And I wanted to hear more about how this came about.
So I live in Minneapolis. So we've had a remarkably difficult year. Mm-hmm. The murder of George Floyd really setting a whole bunch of things in motion. And really a focus, like I would say for the most of the month of June, COVID didn't exist for my clients, didn't exist really for me. Not that we weren't taking precautions, like I still didn't go anywhere, but that was no longer top of mind. It was, we saw something that was horrendous. We want to figure out how we're going to fix it. And we're going to look at ourselves and see where have we contributed to it. So for most of the month of June, that's where my clients were, is a rededication, a refocus on diversity, inclusion, belonging, equity, et cetera. All of those things was really their focus. And as I was talking to my HR colleagues here, and that quickly spread throughout the country. Like, I don't want to say it only happened here in Minneapolis. No, it quickly spread across the country and across the world in many respects. As we're looking for that, I was looking to the organization that I often sent people to as, a baseline place to start for your policies, a baseline place for you to start for, procedures and approaches to things. And I just didn't see SHRM stepping up to recognize that this was important. And so that really bothered me, like to my core bothered me. Yeah. And when the Bostock and its sister cases were being argued in front of the Supreme Court, there was an opportunity for SHRM to step in and file what's called an amicus brief and argue on behalf of the LGBTQ plus community and say, we want this to be included in Title VII. And in, I believe it was like 2015 or 2014, a while back, SHRM had said, we want the LGBTQ community to be recognized. We are advocating for them. But all of a sudden in 2018, 2019, silence, like that was gone. And I was frustrated with that because I wanted, the human in human resources looks at people and says, every one of you is valuable. And I don't want to fire you just because you're gay. I don't want to fire you just because you're trans. I see the value that you bring to this organization and I want to value that, right? I think if you, as my friend Christina Minyard says, you can't be in human resources if you don't believe in human rights. Like, that's just how it is. And I firmly believe, I think she's 100% right.
Absolutely. It's a basic human right. Employment is a basic human right.
Yes, absolutely. So I looked at the silence from SHRM on Black Lives Matter, the LGBTQ plus community, and not seeing any statement in support. And it's not like SHRM doesn't file amicus briefs. They file amicus briefs all the time. In fact, they filed an amicus brief that said HR should be able to use someone's salary history in determining what their salary should be at this company, which again, I think it's a horrible position to take because we know that that leads to the gender wage gap and the race wage gap. So we shouldn't take that position. But so SHRM was stepping outside of where my values were. And I became increasingly frustrated. I have been a huge SHRM supporter. I have tweeted a whole bunch for them at their conferences. I have been resources for their journalists. I've done a whole bunch of stuff for them. And for them to be so far outside my values was really frustrating.
Right.
So I started this petition. I didn't think it was going to get as big as it did, nor did I think I was going to get the wrath of the board of directors at the SHRM that I did. But that's okay. That's what happens. And I know over 8,000 people have signed the petition. It's been a year since the petition started. But I think that was really the first time a lot of people were looking critically at SHRM and going, yeah, why haven't they said that? Why haven't they done that? Like, that doesn't seem to align to our values.
No.
So.
No. And they certainly don't align to mine. And my understanding was always in leadership 101, you don't grow without discomfort.
Right.
You got to have to get through the discomfort. So why do you think these things are so difficult for them to support, for them to, and I think their idea of support is definitely different than mine. I think support involves action. But in what way do you think that they could have offered some support? And if so, why don't they? Where's the bias? Where is this coming from?
You're not going to like my answer.
No, I think it needs to be heard.
My answer is money.
I
sincerely believe that it's a money issue.
Follow the money.
Follow the money.
Follow the money.
SHRM has gotten a lot of money from some very conservative organizations, and they want to keep those people happy. And the current leader of SHRM, I strongly believe that he wants to run for office someday and wants to be able to have the backing of those big money people. And so he's not willing to step outside the bounds to disrupt his potential fundraising in the future. And, SHRM,
it's a great political move. The leader of the Society of Human Resource Management Global. It is the largest. It's the largest.
Yeah. That Coke money floats really well. So, I think that is the primary motivation. Now, in response to the petition, it got thousands of people to sign it. It wasn't that we're going to actually say Black Lives Matter, because they still haven't in my review and my watching what they've been doing. They haven't done that. But they, created a blue ribbon commission that met once, that never reported out, will likely never meet again. But it was just kicking the can down the road, saying, oh yeah, this condescending pat on the head to this little lady in Minnesota. That's what it felt like. It's like, we're just going to kick the can. We'll satisfy some of the critics by look at what we're doing, but no one will ever care. Our attention span will go away. So there's some of those things I think happened in response, and inviting George Floyd's family to speak at their diversity, inclusion, and equity conference. Again, it's like, I think those are performative. I don't think those are things that are really ingrained. And then how they treated their employees through the pandemic, demanding that they be in the office. No one who works at SHRM needs to be in an office. No one. They can all be at home. And so it's those kinds of things that really frustrated me and created a clean break, and also created discomfort with some of my friends. Some of my friends in the HR world, where If I can't trust you to stand up for the same things that I thought we both value, then I don't think I can trust you.